Yeah, good morning. This is Ray Bayman. Just a little video, yeah. I've been watching a video of someone. This guy does quite a few videos, and it made me feel sick. The guy doesn't know what he's talking about. There isn't many people on these videos and podcasts that have been in prison from early days. I think there might be me. There might be Bobby Cummins. There might be someone up north or whatever, but there's not many people around London, around them areas have been in prison as the days I was in prison, like the 1960s. You know what I mean? Upwards. And my first bit of sentence was 1960s. Yeah. And as a going into Ashford Remand Prison, and then Borstal, and then my YPs, and I hear someone talking about being made up at the age of 16. Impossible. You can't go to a big prison as a style prisoner at 16. Never did. It wouldn't be allowed. They're not allowed to do that because of the age group. When you're in a YP or Borstal, you're very rarely twoed up. You're always singled up because of that sexual part of it. And they wouldn't, as a young boy, at 16, 17, make you up as a star to go in the big prison. It's impossible. They wouldn't do it. It doesn't matter how violent you are. They can control you as a YP. They can control you in a Borstal. They ain't going to make you up to put you in a big prison as a kid of 16, 17 years of age. It's not on. They just don't do it. I was in prison with one of the most dangerous guys ever, a guy called Alan Pountney. Alan Pountney was in my YP. He never sort of stabbing people in a laundry, and he was a very, very violent kid. I mean, he got made up at the age of 18, 19. He was one of the first ones to be made up at that age and go into a big prison, yeah. Obviously, I went to Scrubs, and from the Scrubs get made up and then go move on there. But there's people on these podcasts that drive me crazy. I listen to them 24/7. Don't start lying about things. Yeah, you can't go to a big prison at 16 years of age. It's impossible. You can't do it. Why? Listen, Borstal's YP. Your YP's until you're 18, 19, even 21, and you get made up as a star. Yeah, and in prison in them days, your visiting room as a Borstal boy and a YP, you never got put in a big visiting room. What you got put in is a hut, yeah, a hut, and dividing your visitor from you was a cage, yeah, and you sit one side, they sit the other side, and it was a wooden. You just sit on a wooden bench, and they sit on a wooden bench, and you talk, and you're in a cage. When these people start talking about, mind you, a lot of these people were talking about the 80s. 80s in prison was easy. In my days, when I went in prison, mate, it was when I got made up to be a star from my YP. I think I was 20, 21, 20, something like 21, and that's when you get made up as from YP to a big prison. Even then, I remember going. I remember the visit rooms was inside the prison. Not by the gate. You had to walk through the big gates of the prison gates and the other gate to get to the visiting room, and there was huts, yeah, and you had a big table with a divider going across it. You couldn't touch. You couldn't even touch your visit. And yes. In about 1970s, 70s, I remember every Sunday, I think it was just Sundays, not Saturdays, only Sundays, that your parents or your wife could cook you a dinner, and send in a pint of a lager or whatever it was, yeah, a can of lager or something like that, or a little bottle of wine, and could send that in, yeah. And when I hear these people talking about this, but just lying, man, and I get quite pissed off of it. You know what I mean? That people go on these podcasts, these big companies, big firms, and they talk a lot of shit, and they talk absolutely a lot of shit, and people believe it. And it's not. It don't happen. It don't happen. I mean, it can't happen. You can't be made up at 16 years of age. It doesn't matter who you are. King Kong wouldn't be made up at 16 years of age. You can't. It's impossible, you know. And you wouldn't never, ever, ever go into a big prison. Being in my days, when I got made up, you go. I mean, really on remand, you might go to Brixton, or you might go to the Scrubs, but it'd be local prisons, yeah. And you would not, at 16 years of age, because you're trouble, go to a place like Wandsworth. You wouldn't go to Wandsworth. You just wouldn't go to Wandsworth. Wandsworth when in my days, it was one of the most violent prisons you could ever go to, yeah. Not so much the inmates. I'm on about the screws. And when I hear a certain person saying, "Yeah, they come in your cell, big fat screws," well, I've never known that. You know what I mean? I've never known. I mean, in my times, all the screws, most of them, I should think 99% of them were all ex-MPs, military police, and they was all big, powerful people that trained all the time, and they had to be in them days, because in them days you was 3 up and 4 up in a cell, 2 bunk beds in one cell. I mean, imagine that in a cell, maybe 8 by 12, 8 foot by 12 foot. You know what I mean? Or 9 foot by 12, something like that, 10 foot by 12, something. I forget the size of it, but just put 4 foot, like 2 bunk beds in that cell, 4 men in a cell. People talk shit, mate, when they talk about this and that. It's just beyond me, yeah. And a certain person, I told a certain person years ago, yeah, that when I was in prison, they used to put wedges under the door, or put nails in the door, and put nails in the concrete. You should knock the concrete out and put a nail in, yeah. This person couldn't believe it. And then I heard this person on a podcast talking to someone saying, "Yeah, we used to put nails." It's just, this geezer's such a lie, mate. This geezer does not telling lies. He's telling truth about putting nails in and putting wedges in. Of course he is. But it's not him. It's not him. He gets it. I don't know where he gets it from, but he gets it maybe from when he has interviews and he keeps it his nut. But you can't, in prison, mate, I don't, prison in 84s, you talk about 84s and all that, but you still, in early times, you couldn't get, believe me, YPs, I don't think this person's ever done a YP. He doesn't know what YP is. He doesn't know what Bolster is, by the sounds of it. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He ain't got a clue. Maybe he's done 5 years. I think he's done 5 year sentence out of all his sentences. And when I hear these people talking, it makes me feel sick. You know? Bobby Cummins, the little guy with glasses. He's maybe one of the only ones that I can think of now who's been in them days. My mate Lee, his dad, Gorgeous George, is another one who's been through that. He's been through the big times. Gorgeous George has been through them big times like me. There isn't many that has. There isn't many at my age. There isn't many. I tell you that, and survived it. Yeah. I mean, when I even talk about baths and showers, you know, in my times, you went in a shower room in the Scrubs, in the bathhouse, yeah, when you first got your sentence. Even after that, even going to the bathhouse for your bath, they used to put 3 inches of water with a piece of wood. They used to put this piece of wood in, and it'd be 3 inches of water, and that'd be your lot. But when you get on when you come through on your remand or waiting to go to see the screw as you get sentenced. You got sentenced, you come in, you go in the big room, you're waiting in there to go and see the guy, tell you what sentence you're doing, and you're moving on, and then you go and get your food, and you go to the bathhouse, yeah? Get your bath. When you go to the bathhouse, you're going to get in water, right, that's already been used by people. I think it's 3 people or 4 people use that bath and then empty it and put more water in it. Because in them days, right, it was like the water in the Scrubs, the water in all them prisons was boiling, baking hot, but it was only hot for a certain time because there only a certain little boilers in them days, because the way it was, they like to aggravate you. I mean, if you was getting unlocked, in the morning, say on the fours, and you went to the recess to get your water to wash and take it back to your side, the water would be scalding white hot, boiling. But by the time all the fours have had their water, the next landing, the water will be warm. And by the time the last people get their water, the water's freezing cold. It's just like coming out of a cold tap. And that's how it was in them days, yeah? So if you never got, if you didn't get it first of all, or second, you was in trouble. You know what I mean? So I hear a lot of these people talking, they ain't got a Scooby-Doo what they're on about, mate. Honestly. I mean, listen, I'm not proud of being in prisons as a kid in them days. But in them days, I remember a lot about prisons and what it was like. And I remember when you get your kits. And I remember that all your kits, because I'm just telling you what it was like for the hot water. And even in the scrubs, in the laundry, the water wasn't hot all the time because, as I told you, there never really much boilers. So when you got your kit, it was not too clean. You got your pants. There was all marks all over the pants at the back, but by the back of the pants were people of this, But you got to remember. Let me tell you something about prison in them days. In them days, you had a pot. In them days, you chuck parcels out the window. In them days, you used to wipe your bum maybe on a bit of paper. But in them days, also, you got toilet paper, what was like greaseproof paper. Thin as they come, you can see right through it, but it was like greaseproof paper. So when you wiped your ass, yeah, it was so greasy, it was so thin and so greased up, nothing went on the paper. So as you're doing it, the poo's going out your back, you know what I mean? So the people be wiping their arse with loads of paper, but you couldn't get much paper in there. It's crazy. It was mad, you know what I mean? You go on the toilet and people were nicking the toilet rolls and people this and there'd be no toilet rolls in there. Maybe you have to go in the toilet with a newspaper to wipe your bum. So you can imagine the state of your pants, yeah? That's why people used to wash their own pants, wash their own T-shirts and not give them in to get other stuff because it'd be stained up terrible. So when you first go in to these prisons, yeah, especially the scrubs and Brixton and Wandsworth's the worst, you go in there, I'm on about, this is the 60s and 70s, you go in there, you get your kits, and 9 times out of 10, it's filthy. The shirt's all stained up with people with dribbles on it. Your T-shirts are the same, your vests are the same, your pants are absolutely filthy. You get socks that are odd. You get, they're all odd socks, all got holes in this, that, and the other. I mean, you can imagine coming from the road, being married, being with a bird, spending your money, all the rubbish you should do on nice clothes. You come in prison, you put their clothes and you become a tramp and you stink because everything you put on stinks of prison. It's a worst smell you can ever have here. And also that when you go on a visit to see your woman, she's seeing you as well. She knew you as the man that went in prison. Smart, clean, smell nice hair, everything. So a month's time, you've sent your privileged VO out, to see your missus. A month's time, she comes and sees you. A month. Now all of a sudden, she can't believe it when she sees you. You're stinking. You ain't brushed your teeth because they don't even tell you when you're getting a visit. You might get a letter for a letter, and it's anyway. So all of a sudden, you got your visit, open your door, visit. You're not even ready, you haven't brushed your teeth, you haven't done up. You put your silly clothes on, yeah, your greys now. You got to put your greys on with a blue jacket or the grey jacket, yeah, or the brown jacket, Because in them days, if you're on remand, it was brown trousers, brown jacket, or if you're convicted, it was grey trousers and a grey jacket. But when you was a YP or Bolster boy, you had grey trousers and a blue jacket. that done up with buckles at the top, like an air pilot, you know, in the old days, fashion days, and it was quite smart. You know what I mean? It looked good and nice shoes and all that, but you know, you had to make them nice, yeah. But in big prisons, you didn't get that. You didn't get none of that. You didn't get none of that, mate. You got it was all crap. And these people that are talking, they ain't got a clue about civvies and shit like this. And they've got it. I mean, come on, it's like they talk absolute crap. I hear someone go that, yeah, every day we just get food. You know, every day you don't get food brought in. You don't get food brought in. The only times you get food brought in is a Sunday. A Sunday is the only time you get food brought in. Well, in my times, it might have changed. In 84, I ain't got, mind you, I was in prison in 84. I never see it. Maybe, I don't know, I never see it. Maybe they went to a different prison. Maybe they went to a Butlins prison or something like that. I don't know what you're talking about, yeah? He talks absolute shit, this guy. He talks absolute crap. I don't know. I don't know how this guy this guy talks so much shit. Anyway, so yeah. So when you're in these prisons, then I mean you get your visit once a month if you're lucky. Yeah, if you're lucky, you get one PVO and one VO. Your PVO is called a privileged VO, which they can take at any time. Your VO is once a month, and the PVO is once a month, but you can cut it up. So the PVO you can only use in the weekdays. The VO you can only use weekend days, right? Weekend, but you can use it in the week. But that's why you want a privileged VO, so you get 2 visits a month. But very rarely can you get to use them because the screws don't want you to have 2 visits a month. They want to break the idea of them giving you these clothes that are not washed and they stink and they don't give you time to brush your teeth and you're forehanded in the cell and it's absolutely, it just stinks. People smoking fags, pooing in the cell, it stinks and it's on your clothes and you're going to visit your wife, can't believe it. The idea of them doing all this is because they want to break your relationship up. They want you to have nothing. They want you to be punished. Prison in them days, your punishment was getting your sentence. But in them days, they wanted to punish you as well. So their punishment was that. Their punishment was that you smelt like a dog. You didn't have time, you couldn't brush your teeth. You looked like a tramp. They loved it. And your punishment was being in the cell with 4 people you didn't even, or 3 people that you didn't even know. So you could be going in prison with a schizophrenic psychopath that might kill you at night time. You ain't got a clue. I mean, you wouldn't pick someone off the street and invite them into your house, into your bedroom, and let them sleep in your. Of course you wouldn't. But that is what it's like. Prison's like. So when you get prison, when you go in prison, you go in a cell with 4 people, with 3 people, so you're 4th one. You ain't got a clue who is in that cell with you. It could be a schizophrenic psychopath. It could be a paedophile. It could be anybody. Because in my days, there wasn't such a thing as paedophile. You know, it was a nonce. You know, it was a nonce. They put a nonce sign on the door in them days, but most of the nonces was on the ones. And you know, it didn't register so much in them days like it is today. Even listen, anyway, it's not on about today because today is like prison's like a holiday camp. Believe it is. I mean, you know, but in my days, they want to break. They want to break. If you got that is why in my days, when you was in Brixton, Wandsworth, or the Scrubs, or the Ville, not so much the Ville was well, yeah, the Ville as well. When you're in remand for a long time. A long time. When you get sentenced, you get sentenced, you go into Wandsworth or the Scrubs, yeah, and you are in there for what? A year, 12, 14, 14, 15, 18 months, even 2 years before you get allocated to a prison, right? And so therefore, in that time, you've got to hold on to your missus or to your girlfriend, right? But by the time, say you've done, if you can do 6 months in a big jail, you can 9 times out of 10 hold on to your missus because in 6 months, you can get to buy tobacco. Listen, about all this, maybe in them, I don't know, not so much in my days, because drugs in my days was nearly virtually non-existence, especially in the early 60s. If you had drugs, you get killed. So the only thing in there that they sold was tobacco. People had ideas of working in the kitchen, this, that, and the other, and they work in the stores and things like that, and getting more tobacco. So they got more tobacco, they got more things done. So if you were as a tailor, because most prisons had tailors, yeah, when they made the jeans, the jackets, and stuff like that, you know, for prisons, yeah, and shirts. So then people that worked in the tailors, 9 times out of 10, they're the ones that get quite a lot of money, because you're the ones that goes to see them. So do me a favour, make me a nice shirt, so my visit, make me a nice pair of trousers for my visit, you know, and make me this and doing that. So when you go on a visit, you look quite nice, but it takes a long time. It takes maybe 6 months to a year to get them nice things. Other than that, if there isn't many people in prison that get good. The only people that get it really are gangsters, proper faces, proper gangsters that walk in there and people respect them for who they are, and they get all these little niceties like nice shirts, nice trousers. But not first of all. Everyone gets shit. When you first go into these big prisons, you get crap. When you go to that reception, you get crap. It doesn't matter who you are, you get crap because they can't sort it out. It's just there. It's all shit. You might be lucky to get a new shirt. You might be lucky to get new pants if you're a gangster. If you are. But very rarely, they don't get it themselves yet. So you've got to get a good job. I was lucky. I always got a job in the kitchen or on a hot plate where I could nick things down the kitchen and come up and earn money. Not because I smoked, because I didn't smoke, because I wanted to get nice jeans, nice trousers and shoes and all that. But I've had it when I've gone on a visit, seeing my girlfriend, my ex-missus or whatever it is, stinking and looking like a tramp. And they're looking at you thinking, wow, on the street, yeah, on the road, you got every respect from every person on the road, yeah? And you're coming in here, in this prison, and letting these people dominate you